This video provides a summary of the procedure for producing Portland cement concrete in the CE 332 lab. This concrete will be tested for unit weight, air content, slump, and various strength tests. These tests reflect those that are performed for typical quality control and quality assurance during actual concrete production. Please note, some of the processes in this lab have been modified to increase student safety. When performing Portland cement concrete mixing in the laboratory, the following safety precautions are required: safety glasses, closed-toed shoes, latex gloves, an N95 dust mask, long sleeves, and long pants. Also, keep in mind, mixing is a dirty process, so wear old clothes and shoes on mixing day. The following equipment, materials, and supplies are required for concrete mixing: empty buckets, a scale, a wheelbarrow, a shovel, a scoop, a tub, coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, Portland cement, and water. The first step in the mixing process is to weigh out the proper mass of the concrete components based on the concrete mix design. These components include coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, Portland cement, and water. To weigh out the proper proportions of components, multiple buckets will be needed. First, place several buckets on the scale and record the weight. Next, add coarse aggregate to the empty buckets until the total weight on the scale equals the desired amount of coarse aggregate plus the weight of the buckets. That is, aggregate weight plus bucket weight equals the scale reading. Once completed, remove the buckets from the scale and set them aside. Use the same procedure to batch the remaining components, placing each in individual buckets. Once all materials are batched, mixing can begin. First, add half of the water, half of the coarse aggregate, and half of the sand to the mixer. Ensure that all personnel are a safe distance from the mixer and run the mixer for several minutes to ensure the aggregate is saturated. For safety, turn off the mixer and then add the remaining water and all of the cement. Run the mixer for several more minutes. Again, ensure that no one is near the rotating parts of the mixer during operation. After several minutes, stop the mixer to look at the mix. At this point, the mix should be fine since only half of the coarse aggregate is present. Add the remaining ingredients and mix for several minutes. Once again, stop the mixer and look at the mix. At this point, adjustments to the mix can be made by adding more water, aggregate, or cement if needed. For example, if the mix looks too soupy, add more aggregate and cement. If the mix is too dry, additional water is needed. Make sure to weigh and record any extra ingredients added to the mix. Run the mixer for several more minutes to ensure uniformity. Once mixing is complete, carefully dump the concrete into a wheelbarrow. Use the shovel when dumping to prevent excessive splashing of the wet concrete.